as you may have guessed it, it's time for the full AFLW fixture has been dropped, and hoping there's actually good stuff in it for this year. So it means it's all been released. It's gonna be interesting because we already have a few bit of fixture leaks that have came out, in particularly for regards to that there's going to be a split round to start the season, and that it's going to be line up Spuds game, and I've also mentioned it's going to be a double header this year. A few double headers, so my wish is because I'm a Freo supporter, because only 12 rounds, I'm hoping we don't come up against North Melbourne. They've pretty much won every game for the past 2 years, so I do not want to come up against the Kangas. So there we go. This is round 1. Remember, it's a split round, so a 1-2-5 start in the West. Secure Carlton. I wonder if this is going to be broadcasted into TV into WA because of West Coast versus Collingwood at 2:40. I think this will probably be broadcasted on 7 Mate in WA, but I think this is going to be live everywhere else. That's why you're wondering why there's a Sunday night game scheduled. This is going to be a double tying with Spuds game, so nice to see that 2 different sides are opening up the season. Then 13th. So Hawks play Melbourne at Icon Park, which is the Carlton home training deck. Then Saturday, oh god. So Gold Coast play Western Bulldogs people first. I don't see why this isn't a Q clash. This is a Q clash on that same weekend. I rather prefer that being tied in instead. It's probably going to end up at around this time. So, and Richmond and Collingwood are Icon. Oh yeah, Punt Rose out of the season, so it means every night game that is under every game Richmond will be played either Icon or somewhere else. I don't know where else. And this probably because Channel 7 is allowed to broadcast Saturday night games in the AFLW. This will probably be a game that they are going to be looking to televise. I think it's probably going to be a dud in regards to that. That Richmond were crap last year. So SNV Brisbane at Windy Hills. So see, this should have been being Suns v Brisbane at Windy. Adelaide v Sydney at Thomas Farms. They've moved out of Norwood. And Fremantle play Port to begin the season at Coburn Oval. That's the new Freo's new home ground for the W. So interesting. I can't remember the last time Freo played a home game against the Power. I think this is probably the first. We've got a few 2 confirmed. This will be confirmed and later on. 2 good games. So Giants play Eagles at NG, which will line up with depending on when the men's sides play. I like that. I like that very much. That should be good. The men's game will be crap, but this will be good. This will be Channel 7 WA, so these 2 will be Channel 7. And North Melbourne play Geelong. Because the men's sides are both doing well. I think this might be a Friday night game. So they've left this Friday night flip free, depending on where these 2 are scheduled. I think this will be a Friday. And I think it's the first time since 2019 that it's the first time since Season 7 that Marvel's hosted a regular season game. And that's good. Nice, going to be good crowding for that game, because the Roos have been indomitable. So round 2, don't know about round 2. So Geelong play the Saints at GMHBA. So the Saints got 2 games straight at Invict. Doggies and the Tigers at Whitten Oval. That's interesting. And then a grand final rematch. I was expecting this to be on Saturday night prime time. Brisbane v North. Pretty sure this should be good. This game, even though Brisbane got belted last year, then I'll Fuck off. Pardon my language, but we're heading to frickin' Vic Park against Collingwood. I do not know, because this is my week before my birthday. I won't be making the trip because it's a school term. This is irritating. I don't like playing Collingwood on the week of my birthday. Then Carlton v Adelaide, this should be better. Melbourne v the Giants, because this is wildcard weekend, so it means that there's going to be no Thursday, Friday. And then Port Hawthorn at Alberton, West Coast Eagles vs Gold Coast. Wait, no, it's just around 24. West Coast v Gold Coast Suns at Mineral Res. Then, another double header. So, Sydney v Essendon, that will be played depending on how these two teams are going. I don't see this being... I like it. I like it very much. It's good. Good job. I think this will probably replace the North Sydney Oval fixture for the fixture. So, that's why there's a SCG game here. So, that replaces North Sydney. Because I heard rumours that North Sydney won't host an AFLW game this year. So, North play Western Bulldogs at UTAS, as part of their deal with Get Tasmanian Government, which will expire in a few years. Then West Coast play Adelaide Thomas Farms. Let me check when the Indigenous round, just bear with me here. So, round 20. E3, just bear with me here, just identified. So Indigenous round is round 3. So this is Indigenous round. So Sydney v Sid secure at Coffs as part of Sydney's annual pilgrimage into that region. Then GOS Port at Canberra. Good. Melbourne v Brisbane at Casey. So this is the first Casey game of the year. Geelong Gold Coast v Geelong. That should be good. Collingwood v Hawthorn, 2 back-to-back games with the Pies at Vic Park. And Fremantle v Carlton at Coburn. That should be good. We've played our first against the Blues. And Dreamtime at the G is on a Sunday night. Very interesting. Dreamtime at Darwin. Very interesting that they've played on a Sunday night. Having said that, though, there's probably a test match in Darwin in around that same time. So, I need to check. But I think that's why they put it on a Sunday night. Because that's typically a Friday night. And also that's wildcard weekend. Round 4 of Indigenous round. So, Brisbane versus Western Bulldogs, so Sydney at Whitton. Secure play North Melbourne at RCA at Moorabbin. Port v Gold Coast. Brisbane Giants. Oh yeah, there's no Saturday night game. That's probably very likely to be a... So yeah, if it would have dud games. So no Saturday night game. There's probably be a double header of sorts at some point. Then, oh freaking hell, sorry. You gotta be joking. You got to be joking. Sunday morning, 10:30 start, and it's Richmond v Fremantle at Icon. That's an easy win over there, but I don't like it. I prefer this being played at Coburn. This probably gives us a bit more winnable game on the road. Then, oh yep, this is the first game because you may have not heard, but Hawthorn are playing games out of its new training facility at Dingley, so this is the first game. So Hawthorn v Adelaide, that will draw a crowd. Geelong Essendon and Carlton Collingwood at Icon. So there's a double header at Icon. Then West Coast Melbourne at Mineral Res. Nothing to see there. Then second game at the Kennedy Community Centre with West Hawks taking on the Bulldogs. Gold Coast v Collingwood. That should be good. Then Adelaide play Geelong at Thomas Farms, so they're not playing at Norwood this year. West Coast Brisbane. That should be good. West Coast were competitive against East Coast. I don't think West Coast played them last year. Then Melbourne v Port at Casey. Windy Hill for Richmond Secura. Very surprising. I was expecting this to be at Icon, but it should be good. Then we see a Sydney Derby, v North Carlton, and Freo v Essendon at Coburn. Then we return back to normal football service because we've in preliminary final weekend. This has been scheduled for an afternoon game because there might be a Friday night qualifying final preliminary. This is weekend. So Hawks are North at Kazali Stadium. Collingwood, Geelong, Melbourne, Carlton, Port Sydney, Freo and the Bulldogs. So they're leaving a twilight fixture for prelim. So Freo, that should be good. Freo Doggies, they were good. Those two teams were good last year. GWS to be Richmond at Monica. Essendon v Gold Coast at Windy. And Segula play the West Coast Eagles at RCA Park. This should be good. West Coast won there last year, so that will be interesting. And for the other Channel 7 game, I don't know if this is weird. It's Brisbane v Adelaide at Ipswich. That will have some spice. Then it's the grand final weekend, so it means, as per usual, it's a Geelong Hawthorn game at GMHBA. Then we have a jam-packed Friday of footy in Victoria because it's a public holiday. So Essendon v West Coast at 10:05. That will be probably during school hours, so I'll probably try and find a way to watch that. Then Western Bulldogs v Port Adelaide. Carlton Richmond. So I think Channel 7's going to broadcast this. So in Melbourne, North Melbourne for the... So there's a double header of sorts at Icon. Carlton Richmond and Melbourne North. Then no footy on the grand final day, so the 26th of September is the grand final day. So Collingwood GWS at Vic Park. Adelaide Fremantle at Thomas Farms. Oval. Sydney v Brisbane at Henson Park. And Gold Coast St Kilda at People First Stadium. Then another Thursday night game, Carlton Hawthorn at Icon. That should be good. Then another game at Icon Friday day, Richmond Geelong. On GOS Essendon at Henson. Western Bulldogs secured at Mars. Why is this playing at Mars? Having said that, though, they do get crap car odds down there, so that probably serves them right. So we've got a Q clash here at Ipswich. I was expecting this because I can't remember the last time there was a Q clash. It's been a while since the last Q clash, so that's it. And yep, that's smart. They've put the women's showdown in the Channel 7 spot, I think will occur. I think this is going to be good, regardless. Then North Sydney at Arden Street. Collingwood, Melbourne, and West Coast Fremantle at Southern Logistics Stadium, Perth. I'm pretty sure this is telethon weekend. So they've scheduled it right slap bang in the middle of a telethon broadcast. This is stupid. Though having said that, this will probably be on 7 May. So it looks like we've got a bit of slow footy on that Sunday. Then Friday night footy with Bulldogs Essendon. That I'm surprised that's there. That was boring as bat a few years ago. Then St Collingwood at RCA, Port West Coast at Alberton, Geelong GWS at GMHBA. GMHBA, Richmond Crows, Icon Park.
It was the soccer ball.
Sorry, I apologise about that. Our window just got smashed outside where I was filming. So Gold Coast Suns v Melbourne at Great Barrier Reef in Mackay as per normal. Oh, you're joking. King. North Melbourne versus Fremantle at stinking Arden Street. This is one I do not want. Clearly, but you have to live with it. Having said that, though, we haven't played at Arden Street for yonks, and I think we have a chance. Hawks Brisbane at Dingley, and Sydney v Carlton. Then for our footy, we've got, I think this is Pride Round. I'm pretty sure it's Pride Round. I'll check.
Are you still on campus?
Oh, Pride Round was past 2 rounds. So Melbourne, Richmond, Crows, Suns, Carlton, Western Bulldogs, Brisbane at the Port, and West Coast Geelong. That makes sense at Southern Logistics. Collingwood, Sydney at Windy. Bizarre. GS Giants Hawks, Essendon North at Windy, so it's double head of sorts at Windy, and Freo secured at Coburn. So yeah, we play the Saints. Port secured Port Collingwood, sorry, is Alberton. Kill to play Brisbane at RCA, Geelong v Freo at GMHBA. Why? Gold Coast, Richmond at People First. Western Bull, Mission Witten. Western Bulldogs, Hampton Hardman Cup is back. So Western Bulldogs, Melbourne. Sydney v West Coast, Hanson. North v Adelaide North, Hobart. Hawthorn, Essendon, and Kennedy Community Centre, and GS Carlton. And last round, they've confirmed the fixtures in times on that. Damn it. Geelong Bulldogs at GMHBA. I'll be able to make some of these games. So we've got Halloween games with Secura, Port, North, Richmond North at Windy Hill, Brisbane Carlton at Brighton, Holmes, and West Coast Hawthorn at Southern Logistics. Then on 1st of November, GS Gold Expansion Cup, GS Gold Coast, Essendon Collingwood at Windy Hill, Thomas Farms Oval for Adelaide Melbourne, and we finish the year up with Freo Sydney. So that's the fixtures this year. So there's 3 double headers there's 3 women's only double headers, which is really good, as you see there. So it means there's 28 venues going to be used this year, and yeah, and I've posted on here where who's playing, who doesn't play who. So because it's 12 rounds, so I'll bring up it on screen here. So West Coast count their lucky stars because even though they played finals last year, they don't play North. So they're very lucky to avoid. They also don't play Collingwood, Richmond, Western Bulldogs. Freo don't play Brisbane, Gold Coast, Graveston, Sydney, Hawthorn, Melbourne. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoy it. I'll be seeing you in my next one. For my next tipping video for AFL, don't forget, come to every AFLW game as you can.